Welcome to the Cryptid Wrangler podcast. We ask the questions others don't even consider.
Hey guys, it's another Friday night with Cryptid Wrangler. I'm going to introduce the guys this time too. So we've got Bruce.
Hey,
everybody knows who Bruce is. Forget who I am. You got me, you got Scott, and Scott Brush and Larry Luttrell.
Larry's muted.
Co-host. We are still trying to figure out problems with Coley. So, meanwhile, Pamela, thank you for taking over. We appreciate it because I'd lose my mind if it's not already gone. So,
dude, mine's been gone. I've just embraced the fun that comes with it.
It's just like between everything that's just going on, man.
Oh, you've got a lot of personal stuff going on too. That's a different beast.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
We got
all
gas there. The bottom.
Yes. We're gonna bring her on, and then Bruce. Then I'll have you. You go into yours. Hey, right. Coley.
Hi.
Good to have you.
I have a weird shadow. I'm trying to get rid of. Hi, thank you for having me.
Hey, how's it going?
You see it over here. I'm trying to get
You're
to
welcome.
Thing. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. No worries at all. In fact, thank you for coming on. And it was funny because I had been talking to these guys through the week, and I didn't even think to look that you had Daniel Benoit on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I recognized you. I'm like, oh shit, now I know who she is.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, oh, okay, I know exactly who it is. And Scott was going to be on your show, but this whole year's just been the nut.
Dude, the last 3 years have been crazy.
Yeah, it's gotten pretty
so Scott was the one that okay, because Daniel had somebody else that was coming or had come on too. He was really interesting. Oh, I can't remember what his name is. So right off the top of my head.
Oh, Larry or not Larry? Roger.
No.
We've had Roger on.
Not Roger Holler, or not Roger Williams, right? No,
Pete Williams. Yeah, we've had him on.
I'm trying to think of his name.
But I saw your videos and I'm like, oh my gosh, man, she's well established. We look horrible.
So she's probably talking about Jimmy Williams.
Oh, Jimmy.
No. Oh God, I wish he had a really cool story too. He had a really cool story how he found Prince and he something in the mouth he had. And then I said, did you take a black light to him? And he actually took a black light to him on the show. And he's like, wow, I didn't see. So it was really cool. I'll have to look back and see.
Oh yeah.
Super cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have Bruce go first, and he's gonna tell us, and you'll probably be interested in it too, Coley. About I'll have him explain to you a little bit better. That way, he
can I just turn this light? I think I'm getting hit with a blue light, and I promise.
Oh, okay. No, don't even worry about it. So, 1 second here, Bruce.
All right.
That should help.
So I'm going to have Bruce go, and he's going to tell you stuff that you're going to be interested in too with the cryptids. So, Bruce, why don't you tell her what we're doing? Well, you're doing, and we're tailing together.
I've been asked to look at the Patterson-Gimlin film and have a mutual aspect to it. It's given to me, and nothing's been told to me what's in the picture. Of course, it's obviously Patty's in there. And I break it down frame by frame. And I found a lot of stuff that was in it that some people, the older generation, already knew about, but a lot of people didn't. Some people turned their head to it. So it's not exactly what we've been told.
I bet not.
And
I bet not. That does not surprise me. But that's very cool. I look forward to it. Yes, I'm very interested in Bigfoot and cryptids and.
We are live, by the way. Holy.
What's that?
We are live. So
we're live right now?
Yes.
Oh
That's
my
okay.
gosh!
Yeah.
No
Yeah,
way.
don't even worry about it. We are so off
It's
the cuff.
organic. It's organic that way.
Yeah.
It's funny, Coley. You need to try it because people are like, "Oh, you guys are just kind of
Here
there."
I am going
and you
the
just
light, and I'm probably
start the
swearing. God
show.
knows
Oh, no,
what.
no, trust
Oh,
me.
no.
And we're getting more compliments on being off the cuff than we are being squared away. So no worries. We're real light here. So go ahead, Bruce.
All right. So I dove into it head first. Stayed mutual. I come out and talked about just a little bit about it, and of course it was controversial, which I knew it was, but that doesn't matter to me because whether you agree with it or not, the film speaks for itself. The pictures speak for themselves, and I was asked just to give a mutual forensic investigation of the film. And I found, like I said earlier, I found a lot of stuff on there that when you're showed the film, most people just look at Patty. They don't look at any of the surroundings or anything in it. So I've got film footage that was never released to the public. I've got pictures that was never released to the public. And give you one of the frames that I have has 5 Bigfoot hides, fur down on the sandbar, 2 fully deboned skulls. This involved quite a few people. We were told 2 people. It actually involves, so far, I'm at around 12 to 14 people in it. And so when Patty walks through this area, everything that's taken place, she's walking through it, has already taken place. She is summons there. And Patty's a shaman. She has the satchel that she carries, the sachet we all consider purses. And plus she has the scalp lock, which is a piece of hair that comes down here that's braided. And in that braid is a bone, a herringbone, fish bone. So there's a lot to that. And then, of course, you got obvious blood spots on the ground. Daniel, I sent you a couple pictures there. I don't know if you can
Yeah,
bring
I'm
them
trying to
up.
see if I can get them to come up. It looks like it might.
That would be sweet. Might be the first time I think
Yeah,
you've ever been
man.
able to bring photos on the show.
Yeah, first time.
But one of the photos that he's got, I've got an 8-year-old kid there in that kill scene. I've got a woman that's running the camera. This is 1967. I've got a log, 2 logs there. Set up as an ambush zone. Right outside the view of the camera, I have still photo shots. It shows a logging truck, pickup truck, all this stuff. Now keep in mind you're 25 miles into a logging road at Bluff Creek. So that's 25 miles from a road, so they're on a logging road.
Shit, it's not gonna go.
Not gonna work for you.
No.
Well, I'll try to describe it the best I can. If I had the
Yeah,
photos
I
up, I could walk you
apologize.
through it. So you've got 2 creeks, or one creek and another gravel bar that comes in at a V. Here is 2 big logs that are set out up against a bank. There, the hunters, the guys hunkered down, and as these Bigfoot come in, they shot them. At the top of this hill in this photo is also what they call a shaman rock. It's a massive bluff that you can see for miles and miles, but you can get on it. It's off limits to people. It belongs to the Kurok Indian Reservation, Indian tribe. And it's where they take their shaman as they're growing up to train them to be shamans. And plus the older shamans go there. And so does Patty. Patty also visits that spot. So this was a spot of land that they were timbering that this clan of Bigfoots weren't about to give up. They weren't going to walk away from it. You weren't going to chase them off. So it was real easy to set up an ambush zone because they were there. 10 years before that, Jimmy Crew took pictures of footprints and stuff there with logging around his bulldozer while he was cutting the road in. So this is something that was going on for a long time. So this Patty expedition was put together not as a weekend thing that like a bunch of people to go out and do research. This was already known. It was already known that these Sasquatch would be there. And I'm going to use the word Sasquatch and Bigfoot, but I'll be honest with you and tell you that these are not Sasquatch and Bigfoot that we call them. These are indigenous people. These are human beings. These are your ancestor. There's three. My Native American side tells me there's 3 types of Indians, of Native Americans. There's the ancient one that's covered in hair. The next one, through the gene pool, doesn't have as much hair. The third one only has hair on his head and only can grow a patchy beard, not a full beard, just patchy hair. A lot of them can't grow but over 1 or 2 pieces of hair on their face. So,
okay,
Bigfoot
I
Patty.
did send them. I did send them to the Cryptid Wrangler podcast site. Hopefully it shows up there. If not, it's not going to go. And I apologize. Sorry.
Well, that's all right. That's all right.
All
So
right.
Patty goes there to save this clan of Bigfoot. Most of them are killed. 7 killed total. But after researching extensively and spending a ton of time on this film and these photos, one of the guns is a 30-06 Springfield. The other one is an elephant gun that they use in Africa to kill elephants and rhinos. But at the same time, looking at this gun, I realized it can also shoot tranquilizers. So I go back to Patty in a still shot and I study her from the back side. And she's got 2 wounds in her right buttock. And then she's got one through the lower part of the leg, which is actual gunshot because it blows out the front. So I went from there studying that and trying to use logical and be as mutual as I can here. And the thing keeps coming back to me, why didn't she run? Why didn't she run? So going back and going over it and over it and over again, I realized Patty was drunk. She'd been tranquilized. She couldn't run. She's staggering. She's got a blowed out right leg. Now it shows at the time that when the bullet hits her after they tranquilized her, it didn't bring her down quick enough. So the bullet hits her in the lower leg. She turns that right foot in and tries to stay up. But it's not the gunshot to her leg that's keeping her from running. It's that she's been tranquilized.
Mm.
So then I go back and I researched some more stuff and I found out Russia was involved in this. Not Russia government that I can find yet, but Russia scientists and stuff were involved in this. Canada was involved in this. They brought down an attack dog from Canada that they labeled a tracking dog. Well, it wasn't a tracking dog, it was an attack dog. So when they had all the skins laying out and the skulls and stuff laying out there in this photo, this tracking dog circled this constantly. And the handler made a statement that when they proved Canada down and had to put the dog on the airplane, they also had us sedated. And then when they got it there, a couple of days, give it time to recover. And they used it to protect it. And he made the statement that he couldn't release his dog. He only could keep the dog on a leash because if he released his dog, the Bigfoot would have killed it. And so the way he had it set up on the leash, that when the Bigfoot got the dog, they'd also get him. So he was willing to die with the dog. He made that statement.
Jeez.
But we've got, again, this is very, very controversial. I mean, you got people set in their ways that see it one way and they're not willing to keep an open mind on it. Patty was transferred to Russia. Okay. One of the Russians involved in this comes out here recently with couldn't think of his name. He's was on Bigfoot show, Barack. If y'all think of his name,
Gosh,
is it Mike or something like that? He's the one with the woman and the two other guys, Moneymaker and the other guy.
yeah.
Cliff Barrickman?
Cliff. Yeah,
Okay.
Cliff.
That's
Cliff.
one, yeah.
Okay, this guy standing with Cliff, he's a Russian. And Cliff has interviewed him, and he tells Cliff that Patty's alive and well in Russia, that she transported herself there through a porthole, which I knew that wasn't right, because I've seen the marks on Patty and knew she'd been hit with 2 tranquilizers. So I knew that they had shipped her to Russia, and they said she was alive and well, and they had taught her some Russian. She could talk some. So I mean, that's a pretty bold statement for a Russian scientist to come out and say.
You need to go. Come on.
Yeah.
So again, I have to take all this and be mutual. And then I studied it, and then in one of the films in the ambush point, there's a Bigfoot that's been drug up to the other side of the log. You can see him laying there, and there's another one that had been skinned, and they deboned it, meaning they cut all the meat off the skin. Well, from what I understand, it possibly could have been this 8-year-old boy's job to haul the meat off. And he's in this picture, and right beside of him, if you're looking into the picture to the left of him, all up and down this long log is strips of meat. Now, keep in mind, this is extremely hot weather. The young kid is in a pair of shorts. That's all he's got on. Got no shirt, nothing else on, just shorts. To the right of him is a backpack and the 30-06 Springfield rifle. And then directly behind him, off to the left, slightly higher, is the hide of a Bigfoot.
Man, that completely rewrites everything.
Exactly.
But it's not going to rewrite it, because you got to keep in mind the corporations, the money that was involved in this. This was right now I'm at 4 weeks. This was a 4-week eradication. This wasn't a 2-day or overnight or a 1-day weekend get together. It took them 4 weeks to get control and to wipe these Bigfoot out, to get them out of the way. So that involves your logging company. And like I said, it involves people out of Canada, people out of Russia.
So Patty went to Russia alive then?
Yes.
Now, man, that's...
Yeah, Patty's... By the way, this Russian scientist said just not long ago, he let everybody know, he was with Cliff in an interview, and let everybody know Patty's okay. She's not dead, like everybody was led to believe in the film, that she was killed. Okay, but she's in Russia, and they have taught her some Russian. So that's a very interesting thing. When you're going through the film speaks for itself. You can see the tranquilizer marks on her buttocks. You can see where the first tranquilizer didn't take her down, they shot her. But they didn't shoot to kill her. That's the reason why she was shot in the leg. Now, you got to think about 1967. At 50 yards, most people were dead shots. you could consider them professional snipers.
Well,
There's people doing a
30-06
lot.
Springfield's what, in 1903 then?
Yeah.
So that would have been the primary sniper rifle used during World War
World War
II
II.
and for a while.
Yeah, it was a boat. And then plus you had the elephant gun there. So
Scary.
you got the right below the right knee blowed out. You got 2 marks on her buttocks. It looks like bullet holes, but they're not. They're tranquilizer. And then you got Cliff doing this interview with this Russian scientist who knows the whole story about Patty. So that tells me he had to be there. And so when I studied into it more, I found out the witnesses talking about people from Russia had been there. Even at one of the local restaurants there in the town of Orleans, a Russian and up to 2 Russian that couldn't speak English visited that restaurant and was eating there at the time.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Man.
Oh, I'm trying to think. Cliff wouldn't be old enough to be part of that. Because I'm born in 73, so it was just an interview that he had done with. Okay, I'm trying to make the numbers work. So
right.
Go ahead.
Well,
Sorry.
He done this interview here lately with this elderly gentleman from Russia who was at Bluff Creek. He was one of the scientists there. Okay, now none of that's named in that Patty film, but I have. I'm in possession of pamphlets that Roger Patterson sold at speaking events in Canada and places, and it's the exact same photo with these group of people in it that he's using. And this is in Patty was shot in October '67. Roger was in Canada speaking and showing the exact same picture, and he sold it as pamphlets that they also have. So it proves that all these people were there at one time. And it wasn't that Roger and his bunch did not ride up on Patty like they said they did. I'm supposed to be mutual and not give an opinion on it, but I'm just telling you what I've seen in the film.
So it shouldn't even be called the Patterson-Gimlin film then at this point. It should be called the Russian Yeti film or something like that.
Yeah, Russian or
whichever corporations were backing it. That's the only reason why I believe it was even filmed and photographed is because when you've got these corporations involved, they're going to want proof that you took care of the problem. And
so does that mean that Bob and Roger never really saw anything then?
They saw. They were there. Okay. They were also hard. We could say hard. We don't have any proof of that because they've always denied it.
Okay.
And then I have another picture to where Roger is standing on the logging road, and right off the logging road is a big pile of huge bones. Now, these are not cow bones or anything. These are massive bones. These are like dinosaur bones, but they're clearly Bigfoot bones, leg bones, hip bones, and stuff like that. So I think what has happened is you had, what I've been able to prove so far is you had corporations that hired people to go in there to take care of this problem. Those people that was hired to go in there hired other people to help take care of the problem. And they also brought their people in. So you had a bunch of people in there going after these Bigfoot. And they weren't always collaborating because they were trying to beat each other to the fame of it. It's just like if you put out, if you found one where you live, Scott, and you say, okay, I'm going to put out a $50,000 reward if somebody will kill it and bring it to me.
They have to bring evidence of it.
Right.
Them woods are going to be crawling with people looking for it.
Right. And then you hold the key to the gate to let them in, so you know who you're letting in and out.
Okay.
And you're going and you're going to distance yourself. So you're going to stay in your cushioned office and stuff, and they're going to have to send you proof that they took care of the problem.
So you think Russia's the gatekeeper?
I don't know if Russia's the gatekeeper so much as they were, and we say Russia, meaning that the couple of the guys that was involved in this were from Russia.
Okay.
I don't know. They're not tied into the government. It's just like if we went to Canada and Roger and Bob they would refer to it as Americans.
Okay.
Okay. We're looking at corporations that come in here and said, "Hey, or take care of this problem," but we don't want to be connected to it. This is how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And then when you bring in that group is going to turn around and hire another group. So you had a bear hunter involved in it. I mean, you had so many different people.
So the idea is to have so many people involved that nobody ever really finds the catalyst. It's just so dissolved and stuff among many people that nobody's ever really going to know 100%.
Well, if one person gets in trouble, they can bring it up to another person. It just keeps going to where it just eventually just peters out.
That makes sense.
No paper trail, no nothing after that.
Right.
So basically, there were hitmen that were hired to go after Patty and all of them to get him out of the area for the logging specifically.
Well, you got logging, and you got gold, and you got quartz. You had other minerals there.
Yeah, minerals and logging.
So you had whoever was getting these redwood trees. These were redwood trees, massive. In one of the still shots I've got a pickup truck sitting next to this logging truck, and these logs are massive.
Drive through.
You're talking about millions of dollars. And if it was let out that there was a Bigfoot clan living there, even in 1967, there would have been a public outroar over it.
For sure. Because at that time, that was what Peter Byrne and all those guys and Renee DeHinden, like all the old school researchers would have been around during that time.
See, Renee's got some really good stuff. Of course, he
I
passed
just saw
away, and there were so many people tied in this. There was a guy, I won't mention his name, that got with a woman from Canada that was there filming too. And he got her filming. He's pushing a lot of that right now. A lot of that Roger and Gimlin stuff you see right now is coming from this guy because he got the film footage from this woman from Canada who was there at Bluff Creek filming also. And so these indigenous people weren't leaving. They were walking in and out of where their logging trucks were, their logging equipment, their camps were, everything. They were trying to make them leave, but they weren't violent. That's where I guess they thought they could get in trouble. One of them involved in this waited until 2003 before he even come out and talked about it.
Jeez. So I mean that's in context. This is why they're so elusive and want nothing to do with us. I can't imagine why.
Right. Well, they're just another race of people, and they're scared of us. They stay away from us. If you hear of anything aggressive, it's because they got backed into a corner or something.
Yeah.
In this footage of when Patty walks through, Patty's headed to a Bigfoot that's laying on the ground. It's covered from about the waist up with burlap, little makeshift tent over the top of it. Its waist and sticking out. You'll see it raise its foot up. Clearly can't get up, so it's tranquilized also. Well, Patty's going to it at the time she gets tranquilized because she's hit from the ambush point. Now, a lot of people said, well...
So Patty was baited in, basically.
Well, yes and no. Patty knew they were there, but she was going in to get that one that was still alive. When she arrived on the scene, there were several dead because the skins were laying out there, the hides. But one was still alive. and she was headed right to it when she first got tranquilized. That didn't stop her. So the second round went through the leg, lower leg. As soon as she is shot with a gun, she turns to look at him to see who shot her. When she turns back around, they hit her again with a second tranquilizer. And then she veers off from where the Bigfoot on the ground is. And she can't go up the hill. All she can do is go up that dry creek bed, the sandbar, because she can't do anything else. I mean, she's been tranquilized. She's drunk, you know. And in one of the photos, you can see where when she starts up a little sandbar, she is so wobbly that she oversteps a step this way, but you don't see wildlife doing that. You don't see something in the wild doing that. They're not clumsy. So all these are indications that she was tranquilized.
Hey, Coley, Bruce is retired law enforcement and detective, so that's how he can read these horrible pictures, and he's seen the whole 15 minutes worth versus the, what is it, like 20 seconds that they show.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm the first one. I know that there's always something going on behind the scenes. They're trying to hide stuff, cover up stuff. So that's very fascinating.
The giveaway for me, what I caught, was at the very end of the Bigfoot's foot that's laying on the ground is a little stack of cut barwood, just perfectly stacked. And then to the right of it is to the left of it is a tree stump. And then laying on the ground there, by using a different filter, I'm able to bring out hot spots, and hot spots that I'm using on the camera system, on the film system through the computer. Whatever's living is going to show in black. Whatever's not living is going to show in white. So it shows this Bigfoot laying there all the way up to a burlap, a small, maybe 3 foot tall burlap, teepee type like that. And the Bigfoot's laying this way. So his head and stuff's in this burlap. You can clearly tell they had poured water on this burlap to keep this animal cool. They were getting ready to transport him. When Patty comes into the scene, this Bigfoot starts moving, and he was able to raise one leg. This leg comes up behind the stump and comes up above the stump, and it looks like a small person, but it's not. It's the leg of a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And so the filters show me everything in the black there on this Bigfoot. The movement, everything that's not got life to it is white. So it clearly shows Patty is black, because she's in that shot too. That's in the original film. So she's in that shot too. So it clearly shows her perfect. Shows everything around her except this other Bigfoot is white.
Yeah. It's important that people need to understand this from a certain point. As we're researchers, history is not always kind, which is
right. And then in 67, at the time this took place, this would have been considered, and still is considered, a massacre. But how much of it would have been showed to the public? Even a cuss word on the TV back in 67 would have got you kicked out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to put that into play too. How much in 67 that people didn't agree with it, that were there, could actually release. They couldn't. They couldn't release the graphic stuff because the TV producers would never allow that.
Yeah.
They wouldn't allow you to see 2 poles horizontal with 4 leather straps and one hanging by the neck.
Yeah.
And then at its feet, 2 completely skinned and deboned skulls. And then in front of that, you have the tracking dog and his handler. You got a guy standing to the left of him. Then you've got a man who's adjusting his glasses, inspecting the hide, and he's got a man directly behind him watching him, and he's stepping over hides. So there's 7 hides and 2 babies, a total of 7 hides in that one shot, with 2 baby big feet hides.
Good Lord.
So
Yeah.
Patty wasn't stopping. She was going to retrieve, and that's how they got her. And possibly by Patty's breast, 1 or 2 of those that was killed could have been hers.
Yeah,
Dude.
I was the same on Jessica's show too. I was just, it's hard to fathom, but people need to realize that there's a lot of things that happen, a lot of things in play, and
now,
people
Bruce,
need to
would
know the
Patty have
truth.
been one of the ones with the Nephilim DNA?
That's a possibility. She was considered by the 6 nations as the ancient one.
Okay.
Because she was a high shaman. And when you talk about ancient ones, you talk about our grandfathers and stuff who went by farmers' almanacs and stuff, the signs.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they were going to those rocks. Even Patty, the Bigfoot clan, would go to those rocks. They kept up with the stars, the movement of the moon, the sun. They could, they knew exactly what time of year and stuff it was by all the movements in the zodiacs, I should say. So this is all ancient stuff that was practiced, and then was even brought out by Farmer's Almanac probably close to 200 years ago. When to plant your vegetables, when to castrate your cattle, stuff like that. That's always laid out in signs. The signs in the knees, don't mess with your livestock. The signs in the heart and above, you're safe. And the same way with the Indians done it, the indigenous people done it, and so did the ancient ones. They all went by stars and stuff.
Wow. Yeah, no, I think people need to hear it. Unfortunately, I hate to say that, but so much has gone by with so much time.
History is brutal, man. I mean, Bruce, I'm former military,
Right.
You're law enforcement. We've seen a lot of horrors. There's the biggest evil on this planet is humanity. Let's be honest.
It is. What we don't understand, we will destroy. What we don't like, we kill. What costs us money, if our neighbor's costing us money, we're gonna get even somehow or another. That's just the way we're built. We're no longer a country of loving people. We're a country of getting even and getting upper hand. We're a country of quick to put people down. Patty wasn't aggressive. She was never aggressive throughout this film, and all these photo shots with all these people there, including a small child. She was never aggressive.
Wow.
But we all know that if that stuff would have leaked out, it would have shut down all these industries that were working the 6 nations. It would all been put out, and that place would have been closed off to everybody. Nobody would have been making any money, and that wasn't fixing to happen.
Yeah.
And the reality of it is it's still happening today.
We're just better at hiding it now.
Oh yeah. I mean,
blame it on portals and all this stuff.
Back then, if the spotted owl was in the way, they eliminated the spotted owl from there. Now, you can't do that. So what they'll do, they'll go out and put out some kind of poison and pay a 3rd, 4th, 5th party, and it's never tied back to the industry.
Yeah. And what is it? The xylithine, I think, is they had until extinction, but now they're finding 1 or 2 of them.
The thylacine, the Tasmanian tiger.
Yeah, that's the one. So they're finding these small patches of them out here.
Yeah,
so it's pretty cool.
They're finding breeding pairs of them quite often right now.
Yeah. So out of curiosity, with Patty being a shaman, and now she would be in Russia, where would that put her as a shaman? Or just would she be seen that way by other clans?
Now, why did Russia want her to begin with for further study?
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Well, if you look at exactly. If you look up the makeup of the ancient one, the massive sizes, they no two are exactly the same, but heart-wise, meaning organ-wise, brain-wise, and stuff, that'd be very, very important scientific information. You know.
So now, if a Bigfoot has a Nephilim DNA, then that means that they would be an offshoot of a Nephilim giant, then, correct?
Yes.
So that would mean that the Nephilim giants would actually have had a breeding population then, too.
Yes.
Okay, because a lot of people think the giants didn't breed. They just, we had the incursion after the flood. We had the incursion before the flood. And a lot of people are like, well, how would the giants have bred? You know what I mean? That's where Bigfoot.
Well, we talked about that the other day.
Dang, man. Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
So, but you have genetics. So the further generations go, the further you get away from that genetic of the Nephilim.
Breed it out.
Here in
the bloodlines get watered down. They get diluted.
Get cut down. Here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, last year, a little girl and her mother was crossing a railroad track in a car, and it was in a curve, so they had to slow down and just barely cross the railroad track. Well, they seen a Bigfoot just a few yards standing on the railroad track, but they swore it was a man, a real thin, tall man, 6.5 to 7 foot tall, maybe weighed 180 pounds, with long hair all over its body. They didn't consider it a Bigfoot. They took the picture, showed the picture, and somebody said, well, that's not a man, that's a Bigfoot. In the same way with Patty. When you cut Patty's frames down and look at her hair, she does not have fur. She has hair. So if you look from the top of her hair is like a woman's hair. It grows down her back. She's got the scalp lock. The wind blowing the scalp lock comes plumb around to her nose and touches her nose at times. So this is all long hair. It's not short hair. It's all long hair. Now where her wrists and hands are hitting her, or rubbing her waist in certain areas, naturally it's going to wear the hair off. Where her buttocks are, naturally when she's walking, it's worth keeping the hair wore off. It'd be like us when we put on her socks and stuff. We got hair above her socks, up. Her socks keep everything else cut off. And then if you released us, 2 or 3 generations of us back into the woods, to live off the woods and never come back out to civilization, it'd be just a matter of time where we would be covered with hair. It's just part of the genetic makeup.
So does that put them right around the proper time frame that Melba Ketchum's DNA study would have suggested, about 15,000 years ago?
Yes, they crossed the land bridge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Land bridge.
Yes, they crossed the land bridge. And then, we had 21 species that scientists identified, but they wouldn't accept the 22nd and 23rd species because they didn't have the father's mitochondrial DNA.
Because that's the Pleistocene era. So that would have been right around the end of the Ice Age-ish. So they would have been full-on hunter-gatherers at that time.
Exactly. They only crossed the land bridge as hunter-gatherers. So that's the reason why they're built different than us. So that's why the Denisovans are so considered to maybe be in there, the Denisovan people. Okay. Where we genetically advanced and become culturalized, they didn't. They stayed wild. So their genetics slowly changed. So the difference between a Neanderthal and a Bigfoot is a nominal difference then for the most part. Could you call a Neanderthal or Cro-Magnon a Bigfoot? Technically, I guess you could because you're just a few hundred years apart. Okay, and then the hair would just be an environmental adaptation, like we talked about before. Right. Genetically, yes. If you live in a warmer climate, your hair would be shorter. You live in a colder climate, your hair would be longer.
Adapt or die, basically.
Right, right.
Wow.
I'm done asking questions. I could go all night myself.
Well, I mean, keep throwing them. I don't mind talking about it.
I'll send you a list after the show.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Coley, we apologize. I know that's.
No, I'm listening. I'm fascinating. You can keep going, Bruce.
Yeah, we did not mean to take the stage away from you.
No, I have no problem. I'm listening.
Exactly.
It's very interesting.
Yeah,
so what I'm saying is, don't believe everything you hear. The film speaks for itself. Watch the film. Yes, everybody wants to pay 100% attention to Patty. 100%. I understand that. Look at the surroundings in that film. Pay attention to the cutoffs and the restarts in that film.
Yeah.
Do your own research and try to find out what they took out.
How did you get your hands on it, Bruce? How did you obtain it?
I obtained it through someone who obtained it from Roger Patterson's wife. Okay. And then I obtained more footage from other people that were there that filmed it and photographed it. So I was able to put all that together and come up with basically a beginning and an end.
And we glorified the people that
done the massacre. Yeah. But see, back then that wouldn't have been considered generally a bad thing, because the 60s are very different from the 2026s now. So we're more accepting to the Bigfoot and all these other things, to where before 99% of us would have said they didn't exist. So it made it easier for them to cover it up. But as these films and these photos were taken,
go ahead, Bruce.
These films and photos were taken during this only for one purpose, is to show that they did the job they were hired to do. That's proof. They never thought in 1,000 years it would turn out like it is now.
Now, how big were them skulls that they had found?
Pretty massive skulls, big skulls. Patty was probably her standing there beside one of the hides, going towards the one that was alive. She was probably close to 7 foot tall. Now, you got to keep in mind that a lot of people talk about 8, 9, and 10 foot Bigfoots, but you have to study the surroundings and get your measurements and stuff right. Something that was as big as Patty would look like a giant, in which they are a giant. It's been estimated that she's 800 to 1,200 pounds. So if, say, she's 6'8", 800 to 1,200 pounds would make her appear to be 7 or 8 foot tall.
Yeah. You're looking more at the width than you are the height at that point.
Right.
And the muscle would weigh more on them.
Yeah, muscle weighs more than fat. Yes.
Okay.
Well, look at the Alaskan Bigfoots. They get 14, 15 foot tall with all the protein consumption because of the cold weather.
Well, you got to keep in mind they're on Bluff Creek until they use the supper to save the hides. Not the supper, but the lime. One of those guys was a taxidermist. So they brought in lime to pat the inside of the hides down to draw the moisture out because of hot weather, to keep them from spoiling until they could get them refrigerated.
Old school taxidermy, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and at the same time, a year later, another Bigfoot was shot right up from where Patty was filmed. That probably looked like a basketball player with long hair. So he didn't have that width and that big statue. But
the ones I got out here, I got 2-3 clans probably in the same area, and they're all different. We got the Patty looking ones, and then there's the ones that look kind of like me, like the hair stops right about here. Right. And they got, you remember Swamp Thing? It had kind of that V thing over the nose. there's a lot of them out there that got that going on too.
Yeah. But keep in mind, in Bluff Creek at that time, that creek was full of salmon. So they had everything to grow big.
Would that have been spawning season at that time for salmon too?
I'm not really sure.
Summer, yeah.
It's a little bit different as further you go up north at times. I'm not for sure.
Okay.
In the Bluff Creek area where that would have been about the time of the salmon, or salmon could have come in spring that low, or could have come in into September, 1st of October, and been spawned out by, I think she was filmed and shot in October the 20th of 67.
Okay.
So, it's amazing what you can read out of just film, Bruce. And
that's that crime scene. He's recreating the crime scene, basically. That's just your law enforcement radar going off.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
that's how I get when I'm in the woods. I'm like, all right, this track's going that way. These branches are broke off, and you can really pick up some tracking skills just paying attention to how wide the game trails are. There's more than deer going through there.
Right. Oh yeah. Prime food source too.
Mm-hmm.
So wow.
And then you had
Coley, you're up. No.
All right, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Coley.
No, I'm fine. I'm just hanging out, just like chat, and
Bruce is the guest. Fascinating. She's the guest. Bruce is the actual guest.
Yeah. But I mean,
I'm learning a lot. Yeah,
exactly. And I think people need to know the truth after so many years. We're not the hero people that we make ourselves out to be. So, and we did idolize some of the people that were there in shows and interviews, and change the whole, flip the script. So thank you, Bruce. I appreciate it, man.
Anytime.
It's hard to hear, I know, but there's a lot of people out there that
it's mind blowing.
Had that same story. That same story. Bobby did. She passed away a couple of years ago, but
there's a woman talked to Scott Carpenter before he died, cried her eyes out, and told
that's Bobby.
Told the story that I've just recently found about her story after I've already went through this film footage and all the pictures. And then I had a woman come on the show in the comment section and said, hey, this woman told Joe Carpenter the same thing Bruce has found in these films that he's reading, so he's correct. He's got it right.
That's Bobby. Yeah. Yeah, and I had heard her on a podcast years ago. And I called a buddy and I said, hey, is this true? No. They could never have done that. Well, I guess you'll do just about anything to their people.
You're talking about Bigfoot, and that would never happen in the same sentence. Like Bigfoot's already real. That's already a big bombshell in itself. Now you're to manipulate the you know what I mean, the narrative behind that. Like, why wouldn't it exist? We already know Bigfoot does.
Yeah, I mean, look at our court systems and law enforcement and our court system. Circumstantial evidence without a body, we can still get a guilty verdict.
Yeah,
we have millions of pieces of circumstantial evidence that says Bigfoot exists, but everybody's still denying it.
Yeah.
Science wants the body, I mean, obviously they have them, but they're not going to release it to the public.
No, I mean, you got a scientific value to it, and then nobody wants to go back and rewrite 100 years of history in the history books. We were taught to believe one way in the school system. Now we're going to look back. Well, our teachers lied to us. Well, no, they didn't really lie to you. That's all they had to teach you with.
What they had to, that's what they knew at the time.
We got the watered down basic, get your high school diploma version. That's about it.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. We were corralled to go into a pen and learn just this instead of everything else.
Yeah.
I actually got a book. It's sitting out on my shelf along with Renee DeHinden all the way on up to all the old school researchers, and it's called Lies My Teacher Told Me. And it tells you all these really interesting facts about historical figures that you might not have known. And it's just mind blowing. Like, kids would have got A's in the class if he would have taught the cool stuff, not the boring stuff, you know?
Right.
And that's true.
It wasn't
Scott,
that we were corralled, we were conditioned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Same thing. And Scott, his birthday was this past week too. So happy heavenly birthday, brother. So, and he's gotten almost all of it right too. So amazing. So, okay, I don't want to throw you in the in the shark infested waters, Coley. But,
I can handle my own. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, she's an OG. She's been doing this a while.
Oh yeah. Because I was thinking you looked younger in the pictures, and then I looked at it. I'm like, I know who she is. So,
No.
Yeah.
No, I have been. I've been here. I've been in a few different places. Spaced Out Radio back in the day.
Yeah, Spaced Out with Jessica was on Spaced Out recently too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
With
Jessica
Dave-
was there.
With Dave Scott?
Yeah, I was with Marquise. It was when they had the after hours.
Okay.
Wow. Well, how long have you been doing this, Coley?
You know, when I first got into this, it wasn't necessarily like I had planned on it. We used to pick up a phone and call in on a phone, and it would be like speakerphone. And if that tells you how long ago it was quite a bit ago. But yeah, that's how they used to do it. When I first started doing interviews, or I did interviews, it's like, no, you have your cell phone, you have it on speaker, and you don't touch anything. And I was like, great.
Yeah, because it would
like
rock.
party line in. Yeah. Of course, I disconnect. Yeah, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how they did it back then. But you could do it in your pajamas. No one could see.
Yeah, exactly.
Like fantastic that way. Definitely.
Sometimes you don't want to know that though, you know.
No, nobody else would
not
know.
wearing clothes on the other side.
Oh, you know how many people have been on my show that have said that? I'm like, oh dear God, I hope.
Oh, really?
But yeah, there's been a couple that you say that.
Yeah. You know,
I just don't ask.
I watched a couple of your videos too, and I mean the UFOs I've been interested in for a while now, so too. But we're happy to have you on, and we don't know where to start you. But
no, I appreciate you having me on, and I'm also cover the cryptids and Bigfoot and everything. So I'm very fascinated. So thank you, Bruce, for your knowledge. That was very interesting.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Yes, and I guess, where do you guys think that I feel like they're two. We're talking maybe more or less about some of the same things. You know, it's like, where the paranormal, the Bigfoot, the UFO, there's got to be a crossroads for them. You know, the non-human intelligence, whatever trigger word they want to put on it now. But I feel like, they're a lot closer than what we really think they are.
Yeah, that veil is
the
almost
connection somewhere.
Yeah. Scary, but so how did you get started in doing UFOs and stuff like that?
Oh goodness. Yeah, no, if they found me, I didn't find them, they found me. I was out doing some paranormal investigating in this old creepy cemetery, which is like right up my alley. And I had the case number. I don't have it at the top of my head, but anyway, we were looking, and I'll never forget it. And off in the distance, it looked like a contrail, like you'd see a jet, but it had, and at this time we didn't have like the LED lights, like those weren't really a thing in 2017. I mean, maybe they were a thing, I just didn't know about them, but we didn't have like the lights rimming the rooms or anything, or like microphones lighting up like that, but it looked really different. And I sat there, and I had my camera, and I did get a couple pictures, but it's coming over. And I said to my neighbor, Sarah, I was like, I think that thing's coming over here. And she's like looking, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I had her call my brother, because I didn't have my cell phone. 2 weeks prior, my brother and my son had saw a UFO in this area. And this is like a desolate area. You can Google it. It's in Cascade, Iowa, but it's not even just in Cascade. It's between Cascade and Bernard, in the middle of nowhere. So I'm like, what is going on? So that thing crept 1 mile. This is what MUFON Dave Creeder had measured it after to do. It crept 1 mile, 50 feet in diameter. I was 30 feet away from it, and that sucker was no more than like 15, 20 feet above my head. I have never been more terrified before in my life, but all I could do is like, those moments I made myself stand there because, I'm in the old Civil War era of the graves. And I thought if I could dig a hole right now, I'd be going right down there. That's how scared I was. Yeah. Right. When that sounds like a good option, it's time to get out. But there was nowhere to hide. There was no shelter. Anytime we got in the vehicle, it would have been. So and finally she's screaming, yelling, and I'm like, so I break I call it now like locked into them, but I kind of like broke for a minute. I looked over at her and it's off and it's on to the other side. And I was like, whoa, that's weird, if all this wasn't weird enough, right? So then all of a sudden, like I'm thinking, how would I don't know what to do. I've never heard this. Nobody prepares you for something like this. You hear about it, but you don't know what you're gonna do until you're actually faced with something. I was shaking. I was like, literally, stay here. You're okay. Like, I hope you're okay, but I don't know what I was thinking. But anyway, so then it shot off and it broke off into like 7 or 8 light spheres.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, wow. So I ran down to her truck and I'm like, she's like, I said, let's follow it. Let's see where it's going. We don't know. Now it's like into light, I called them light balls back then, but I was like, it's broken off into light ball. What's going on here? And then so we did where we thought we had seen, and I got out and it was really eerie. And I remember we were on this gravel road and they have telephone wire still. And we looked over and I was like, it looked like somebody was taking them and just like shaking them. And I was like, holy crap. And I looked up and what I could see was like almost like a gunmetal is the closest thing I could probably describe the color as. I said, I think it's above us. And we could feel the vibration come just like right up through us. So then I'm like, get to the car. So we got to our vehicle and, it was probably the quietest trip back. I think both of us were sitting there in such disbelief. Like, did this really happen? You saw it. I saw it. It was just quiet. And then that kind of opened up a whole new thing. That was in July. And then I saw a few things, kept close contact with MUFON for putting me on the here, there, back door to the government. So I was like, man, oh man. I've been very vocal with them about that, but I do not appreciate that. But it does. It's like a marker. They're the DOD. They're just hustling information back. So I was like, but this is when you're naive. Because who do you tell? I remember Googling and I was like, who am I gonna tell? And this MUFON came out and it was classic because he comes out in this white van. It'd be exactly what you'd expect for MUFON. And MUFON Dave's hair, it was funny. But he came out and investigated it, and then things started happening. And then it was probably, I think it was been December. And that's when it really started flaring back up again. And I was getting ready to move. I lived out in that area and I was coming back to the city. And I even stopped and said goodbye. I started to have like this emotional attachment towards it. Like, I don't know, there are different like cloud. I mean, I'm seeing like phenomenal things. And I was just starting off like, taking pictures of the clouds. I thought they were like, very innocently and paranormal stuff that I've always, I've always had that. But I never thought, I really didn't, and especially not in the middle of nowhere, that in something like this was even possible. So from there, everything kind of got a little weirder. But and then looking back at my childhood, I didn't even like put together, like I was a gate kid at 4, and then I was on these frequency machines and like all this weird stuff, and I didn't put 2 and 2 together. In my family, this is not even a joke, they don't think it's that weird. Like it's a very eccentric kind of, my grandmother's very high profile, so she's always doing and off on different adventures. Then I started connecting some of the dots to some of this stuff, and I'm like, I don't know if this is a coincidence at all. I really don't. And I'm the first one to say that. And I've seen hundreds of them. And they're all different looking. They act different. I have different names, like the ones Night Danglers or the Night Creeper. He's the one that comes slowly. It's like you have this. You build a bond with us. I'm sure you guys do with the whole cryptid thing, but Yeah, it
definitely.
changed every part of my life from that encounter on. But it brought great depth. It brought a purpose. It brought, like my own little mission now, so yeah, it was exciting, cool. I mean, there's been so many, I guess, and I'm sure it's the same probably because I've talked to so many people too. It kind of puts you in I don't think life ever resumes normal balance after you go down these roads. Like it never is going to have normal balance. And I just kind of deal with it day by day as it comes. But yeah, I've had some really interesting stuff happen after.
Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's like you hear the stuff like, and I have had my phone. I mean, like I get all these crazy messages once in a while, and I'm just like, man, does everybody get
Government
this?
messages?
Oh,
The
I get some
government?
interesting ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know exactly who or what, but some of them are very, they were like taking my location at one point, like taking a SIM card when you actually needed SIM cards in your phone, that went missing. And I was like, okay, this is getting weird. And then I had a vehicle that was following me. We were like, it's just kind of things to kind of spook you out. It wasn't anything real dangerous or like anonymous, like, are you afraid to they put all your information on there, and I'm like, who does this? Like, who has the
Yeah.
time? But I really do. I think it's more of a psychological operation, if you ask me. Like,
Yeah.
I'm the government, don't trust anything to do with the government. I'm first say, oh, let's take a step back here. So I don't even know. And two, I always wonder, I'm like, was this something big enough that maybe we needed to have to join or meet certain groups of people? Like, maybe it's not so much about the phenomenon, but about what you're supposed to do in life, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, definitely. So I automatically think too with the paranormal and the cryptids and UFOs, all that stuff. It does have a link, but I don't think we have the science to back all of it up together. But I mean, there's got to be something to it. It's all behind the same
Probably
veil.
by design. Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Any ideas?
I got a live I'm going on an investigation, so I got to hop off here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm heading over to my friend's house. There's a lot of weird activity going on, so naturally, I got to scoot.
Cool.
Yeah. No worries.
I'm jealous.
I'll fill
what
you
kind
all
of
in.
activity? Yeah.
Oh, well,
Definitely.
She messaged me, and she
know
goes,
what happened.
I was up in the bedroom, and a dog walked through the room, and she's like, at first glance, okay, whatever. She's got a dog. Then she's like, I go, okay, why is that abnormal? She's like, because I don't have a dog.
Oh yeah.
She's got like a door that's like 12 feet off the ground, and there ain't no deck outside, and there's this figure standing behind a door where there's no solid platform. She's got squatch activity. She's got the whole pebble tossing thing. Yeah, there's dogman activity too. That's what scares her the most. So we're gonna check that out.
Yeah. Sounds good, man.
I'll keep you guys posted.
You.
Thank you. I'll let you know too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Cool.
Good luck
Good
to
weekend.
you.
Be safe, brother.
Absolutely. See you guys.
Call me if you need me.
Will
there
do.
You go. There you go. We'll fly.
Somebody's got to find the camera.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. You'll have to join if you see anything. Great. Yeah.
Absolutely, I will.
Jump back on and show us.
I will. Have a good one, you guys.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. So, yeah, no, I mean,
Coley, did all this inspire you to get your license, your pilot's license?
Yeah.
No, I did that before.
UFO
encounter. Yeah.
Oh,
I
did
kind
you
of
do it
looked
before?
at it and I was like, you know what?
That's
Everything
cool.
that I've kind of done before led up to this moment in time. That's what it just kind of like.
Yeah.
I've always been interested in aviation. I've always, been fascinated by it, but it does, and thinking about it now, it does, because I understand how an aircraft maneuvers. I understand, like things that they're not supposed to be able to do, and I can recognize lights. I worked for United Express. I was also a flight dispatcher out of Cheyenne, Wyoming. So I understand the movement of, a typical craft compared, and I also know I studied enough to know, about what our government, our military has. Not everything, obviously, but for a majority of it. And some of these things are not even what you think they would be. Like they're almost like biological, like a matter more than a craft. And I've very rarely, I've seen like one or two where I could have been like, you know what, somebody is on there. Most of them, I've always said this, I think they are what we see. Like, I don't know what kind of intelligence. And I've had, it got weird for me. It got very weird where I had experiences on, and it like, because I had all these medical issues. I had disc replacement surgery in my neck. So it caused like a long history. Did you have that too?
Yeah, I've already had 3 discs in my back, and then I have to have 3 in my neck, and then 1 more in my back for disc degenerative disease. So yeah, it's
Ooh, oh my God. I hope it, I've to you. It was one of the worst healing. I shouldn't even talk about it. Hopefully you have a better surgeon. You have a better, you know. But I was.
If I could get into him, he's pretty popular.
Probably.
I told my neurologist when I come in on a wheelchair, you can operate on me then.
First one to hit you.
I just dropped over with it. I just literally dropped over with it. And they took me up to the ER, and I was like, and then I was like, they said it's usually you get back. I lost my whole right side from it. So I like to learn how to spoon feed, how to walk again. I had this hard neck brace on for a year. I was not happy about this, you know, like it was a nightmare. And I was like, man, I had these little things that we take for granted every single day. And then I got to a point, you know, like I was on derby, I was roller skating, and I still do now, but I couldn't do any of that. I literally would stand there. I didn't have my balance. I would tip over. Like I remember standing by the laundry, my poor kid, you know, I'm like, how am I going to be a mom? I tipped over. Like that's how much balance I had. So, but when I encountered that craft, it was like, I believe January of 2018. All of a sudden I was like jolted, like I had a jolt of electricity going through me. I remember somebody came behind me, and I had like the precision of a ninja. And I'm like, how did you just go from tumbling over next to the washer to standing there to that? And it was like instantly I was like 50% better. And this is against all medical odds. It's all documented you know, because there's like a curve. And this would have been outside the fusion curve. And they're like, well, after this, it kind of plateaus. And then I thought, man, my hand's twice as swollen. Can't feel anything on my thumb. I'm like, all of a sudden I have like 20 different diagnoses. I have bursitis in my shoulders. I'm, you know, they won't even touch me at physical therapy. They're like, just go home. And I'm like, what do you do with that? You know? So it was, I was like at a really low point. And I was like, this is all, if I have to live the rest of my life like this. I remember seeing my grandpa have a stroke, and I was like, this really reminds me of what he had gone through. And him just working that nerve pain. If you have that nerve pain ever, like it was bad. It was really bad. So finally, and then so after that, so I you know, people can say what they want. Some people have negative experiences. I take the trade-off for you gave me my freedom back medically. Like I go out, and I not only that, I literally have exceeded like any, you know, strength, or, you know, I can go flip off zip lines. Like there's strength that I didn't have prior that was all transpired from it. So I'm like that. I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah.
I'm not taking away.
You don't realize how
UFO
down in healing you really are until you're sitting there in front of the TV, can't stand it anymore, and having ADD doesn't help either. So it's
I got the same. I'm plagued with the same. Well, they shouldn't have given us aluminum cans when we were kids. I said we grew up on aluminum.
That is so funny that you say that, because most of the people that are ADD, neurodivergent, autistic have all been on these shows, all on the podcasts. So there's got to be something with that too. There's got to be some way of seeing things differently or closer than normal. So, and it's been from all over the world too. Talk to people that have said, oh yeah, no, we see, you know, all this all the time, and the UFOs and everything, and they're in it. So if I could just figure out what that is. So but yeah,
well,
no,
our
I hear
teachers
you.
would tell you it's a curse, and I said it's a gift. It really is. We're able to connect
Yeah,
dots. Something
yeah,
interests you, you're going to be all in. If something disinterests you,
yeah,
and I think that too. Like, okay, school, that's great. Like somebody had said before, the books. How much crap did they teach us? Like, I didn't memorize any. Yeah, was I very successful in undergraduate school? Mm-mm.
no,
None of it made any sense, and I didn't see the purpose or the point in it.
yeah,
It was
exactly.
like, but I was constantly monitored as a child with putting blocks together. They were always after for the gifted and talented program. And I didn't know that was anything like major. Somebody came on my show maybe like 8 months ago and I was like, whoa, wait a minute here. Started getting into that and some of the weird stuff with the frequency machines. And I was like,
Yeah, Rife
ew,
meters.
this is getting a little murky water for me.
Yeah. Now,
But I
what?
didn't
What?
I didn't make a connection. Not for many,
Yeah,
many years.
you said gifted, so I thought I saw one of your episodes had MK Ultra on it.
Yes. Oh
One
yeah,
of
with
your shows.
Thomas.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Wow.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Thomas. Yeah, it's the Cicada 3301. I'm not sure if you followed the puzzles going back in the day, but that's
Oh no, I hadn't. It's only been up probably the past 8 years that I've listened to, on the podcast and thinking, oh my gosh, that's so weird. I had people that have told me about that, and I'm going, I don't remember that in school. So it's like, yeah, it happens, and it's crazy, you know.
yeah. They got me at preschool, which I thought was a little weird. But
Oh,
like I said, yeah, but that's still in my family. And it gets even weirder because I was taken to this farm. It was in Garnavillo. Whatever it has to do with, it has to do with my blood type, and that's what I'm really looking for answers on. My
RH
grandmother,
negative.
well, yes, it would be, but RH negative, it's AB negative. All
Oh, okay.
negative is
Yeah,
RH
similar.
negative, right?
Yeah.
So, but it gets even weirder because my parents are both O negative, and I'm AB negative.
Oh,
Now that shouldn't happen, but
that's
yeah, if I did not look so much like my grandmother and
yeah,
like my father, I'd be like, okay, where's the mailman? Like
yeah.
this isn't possible. And I
Right.
even told my dad, I
You're
was
like,
like,
hang
Dad,
on, wait a
yeah,
minute here.
yeah, right. He doesn't have a brother, so we're clear there. But my grandmother was
Exactly.
AB negative. Yeah, I said my cousin's like, well, maybe they hit. I said, who? I don't
Yeah,
think so, but it's very, very slim and very rare. So
yeah,
whatever it is, it had to do with that. I remember we taken out into this barn. This guy named Jerry Shepley. He would he had one of the Rife microscopes. I didn't know what that was back then. I later had
yeah.
found out, but remember him holding what my blood looked like. I had high yeast content. I remember him saying that, and I was put on
Really?
this vitamin regimen. Yes, in the farm, so that it gets even weirder. So I guess we get a call. I was at my grandmother's, and this is about 40 miles. Mind you, this is the first place she saw a UFO. So I knew that I believed my grandmother. I'm like, I knew she wasn't lying. She's like, oh, if I would have gotten out of that car, and we are like, you're crazy, grandma. Why would you do that? And she's like, it was pouring down rain. I watched it for 45 minutes. But it was at the same farm, which I thought, okay.
Oh,
Yeah. And then we get a call at her house about 2:30 in the morning, and I've probably been 11 or 12 at this time. And they said that the FBI are coming in. They're going to raid the farm for the machines. I was like, so my grandmother and I jump in the car, drive her Lincoln Continental all the way up there. Like we're not, obvious or anything. I thought they couldn't have been watching that close, but I guess they got tipped off that they were coming in. So we got 3 machines out. And those 3 machines, again, all around frequency, all around. I don't know exactly what I know what they look like. I know what they did. I know what they told me they did, but they were
Rife
very
meters.
important.
The only reason I
Yeah.
memorized that is because Matt Rife was talking about it at one time. So they
About
were Rife meters, is
I
what they
don't
were
know.
called. Yeah.
oh, okay.
I went to
Did
school in this.
say
Go
that
ahead,
again?
Larry.
I missed you.
I, I went to school in the 70s. They were kind of almost, they were testing kids with headphones, having them hear different tones and frequencies, had them in different cubicles. They were testing to see how smart they were and stuff. I think they were selecting kids then. for what you're talking
Their
about
marker,
now.
there's a whole way that my blood would have put my marker, the heel prick, when they do the heel prick on the children. They're looking. They are looking. We're quote unquote the disruptors, but everybody's had like a different layer or level of it. That's like no two people, it seems. And I can't find anybody yet who got recruited in preschool. I was recruited by the local Montessori preschool here in Dubuque, Iowa. And I'm like, it is so bizarre. I remember, and then continuously through school, and I went to a Catholic school for part of it. So they would have to come in and then they'd have you put these blocks together and they'd have like, and I always wondered like, well, why it felt like a punishment. I didn't like it. A part of me did not like it. I remember the whole whatever is going on in your ears. And then, yeah, it was just bizarre. And then it went from that after the FBI raided. I guess he was giving a woman who's pregnant oxytocin injections that were animal. So he did get charged on that. But it was rumored to be a CIA kind of a CIA cleanup job is what it was rumored to be. And it's not even exactly listed. And I have like the documented proof that it was, in fact, like an FBI raid. I remember when the whole thing happened. But it all throughout my life, they'd be like, go get the machine. Anything wrong, go get the machine. It's like 2 metal rods. This is like, I said, this is torture. It's like, you want to talk about like an electric chair. It was like 2, you held onto these rods and then you programmed a frequency in and then it would like shock you.
Well, they're
like,
bringing those back too. The tuning forks and stuff like that. Bruce, him too. He's with the tinnitus in his ears. I've got it too, so it should be interesting when we go out there.
Are you sure they're not communicating? That's usually communication.
He was saying the same thing with, what was it that cryptids had a frequency?
Cryptids operate at a frequency that's outside our range. When you get tinnitus in the ear, you got a constant ringing of a frequency. They can pick up that frequency, and that frequency is how they read you. So that's.
Have you ever tuned it in, Bruce?
Yes.
Oh, really?
There's a way of like pulling it in, and I've done it a few times where it got really clear, and I was like, "Whoa!"
I'll take two tuning forks. One is 25 mile an hour, and one is 55 mile an hour. That has nothing to do with the ear there, but it tunes you in to where you can concentrate on that tone. So these are used on radar guns. So I pop them together at 55 mile an hour, and I hold them out in front of me, and they tune into my ear. It's just like playing the guitar. Your frequencies spot on.
Can you hear who is trying to talk to you?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
I have interactions with the ancient ones, the Bigfoot, and they come out and show themselves. Exactly, it's through the frequencies from my ears. They'll come out, and then they feel comfortable with me, and I feel comfortable with them. A lot of people said, "We don't know why you're not scared, why you don't run off and stuff," but they've been coming to me since I was 8 years old.
Oh, wow.
So I'm not afraid of it.
You have to keep a level of cool, because I was always, like excitement, because then it kind of draws them out. If you get excited or worked up even with ET, they retract quickly.
Right.
Jeez. That's
crazy. If you will tune that frequency from your ear, your sightings will go through the roof.
I have a whole technique. If you lock and then you come in underneath like that and you ground yourself, you can really.
Yeah. Another way to do it, if you haven't got tuning forks or a machine to do it with, is to take your shoes and socks off and go into the woods and get grounded. Get around some limestone, even coal, quartz minerals, anything to where you can get grounded. And then you can pick up that quartz and tune yourself. Once you tune yourself, then you know everything that's in the woods, and they know you're there.
And you said Patty had that around her neck. Was that right? The quartz?
Patty had the sachet. One that was in the woods on the hillside above Patty had 2 quartz rocks in her hands. Okay. Everybody said, well, they knew how to make fire because they could pop the quartz together and strike, and it strikes and makes sparks. But what that is a tuning. It's a harmonized to keep the body well. If you can get the certain quartz that they use, because not every quartz has that in it. There's certain quartz to get that certain energy. You might find a field on the mountainside of 5 million quartz. There may be only one of those quartz that can heal you. So it all carries different energy and different frequencies.
I learned so much from him too. It's incredible.
So when I went in the woods back last year before last, I was having problems with my kidney. It wound up being a kidney stone, and I didn't know this. But when this Bigfoot female touched my hand, the pain in my side went away instantly. So I went for 3 months with no pain, started gradually getting it back. And then when I went to see a doctor, well, you got a kidney stone. So they gave me some medicine and it went away. Well, when I went back again to visit this gland, I had this ringing in this ear. I was out of tune. I had a massive headache, and they picked up on it. And then this time they handed me a brown-looking rock. I didn't know what it was. So when she handed me the rock and I held it in my hand, my headache went away instantly. When I rolled the rock over, it was a piece of quartz.
You know, what's funny is, you know how they fix that? It's called lithotripsy, and it's a certain frequency. They put you in a bath, and they do this certain frequency, and it blows them up and makes them smaller and easier to get rid of. So there's the frequencies again.
So that's crazy. Does you hear that?
Yeah. So here I am running up and down mountainsides that's a mile to the bottom, and I've got guys half my age, and they can't do it. Well, they're asking me, how are you doing this? Well, one guy even wrote a song about me, calling me half man and half mountain goat. But the reason it is when my frequency is in tune, I can do these things. And the only way to get them in tune is I have to go to the woods.
Yeah.
Grounding has to be a part of it. That was one of the machines.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Feeling Mother Nature. The second machine that they used on me was like 2 metal plates in water where you put your feet on them. Everything. I don't like to even be shocked if somebody is on the carpet after all this. You know, it's like,
that's supposed to pull the aluminum chemicals.
It was a bit different. It was a bit different. I know which one you're talking about, but this was a bit different. It was a grounding.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And the third one was a light that used to flash lights. And they said the explanation I was given is that if I didn't see the light, it would I'd be repairing something. So that's all I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we don't really teach even frequencies in school anymore, I don't think, do we?
I don't think they did back then. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't understand how important they were. It wasn't like, oh, the frequency, you know, now there's all this stuff about the frequency.
Clears your mind, helps you heal. It's just incredible.
But it also can be used for manipulation as well.
Yes. What I was fixing to say, it changes your whole attitude, and it could be for the good, and it can be for the bad. You know?
Yeah, I don't trust the government. I don't trust the government.
Oh no, you can walk into the certain areas, and you're pissed right off the bat, and there's no reason why you're pissed.
Yeah.
And then when you go into another, get on the elevator, listen to the elevator music, and then they got a heartbeat in that music, and then all of a sudden you're back in tune, you're fine. It's all frequency.
Yeah. Gosh. Man, see, that's part of the reason I love doing shows like this, because you get so many different views, and then you start to put them together, and you're going, gotcha, you know. And it's more than any book or any site you can go to, you know, how music works through you and whatnot. So it's really cool. So gosh,
yeah, that's what Thomas, the composer that was talking about the MK Ultra, their music is designed, and I have somebody who's coming on who's very, very interesting and all a part of the Cicada 3301, but she said it's 440 that the real frequency, not the 432 that we need to be doing. They're correcting for it to restore back to root, to fix a lot of the fractured. The government put all these programs in there to fracture minds, keep you in the loop. I mean, it's just unbelievable when you take a step back and you see so much of this. And I'm like, man, but it's good. Yeah, that people are out there and they're doing things like to really expose a lot of this. So that's cheering them on.
Is that 440 megahertz?
440 hertz, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Hertz. Yeah.
We generally stay within the 20, so we do have to amp it up. And if you're going to learn and learn quickly, you've got to get in tune.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I believe 44 if you're looking at it that way, but then it's 440 if like the hertz from the spectrum.
That's 44. Yeah, 44.0 something. I can't remember the exact frequency on it because one machine will say 44.0000. The other machine says 00.44. So it's according to what machine they use.
Yes, and they're correcting for all the deviation because they say, the government, and it really is so true. Like you look at all of this stuff, and from there, it didn't even stop there. Then they put me through, like I have Mayo Clinic in 1995, put me through MRIs I thought this was, I'm like, okay, because they said that I have this area like a pocket. They could never explain it. So MRI, we went to Mayo Clinic. My grandma flew me out to Johns Hopkins. We went out there, no explanation, but they kept injecting me and kept putting me into these MRI machines. And at that time, they were like massive. And I had that it's a metallic dye that never really, and I thought, man,
so for your glow.
Yeah, right. I'm like, yeah, I was taking out street lights, and I was like, what do you guys think would happen? Like, I'm surprised I didn't take out more than that. But yes, weird stuff. So I don't know if I was groomed for it, or I don't believe any stretch of my imagination, I guess, looking back and all these different things, the 3 machines, like the gate program, and then all this, and then I looked to when I experienced it, and I remember the first major UFO sighting was right when my grandmother, not right when she had passed, it had been within months, so it was the same year, and I thought, well, this is interesting. She and I, like our names, I started to get into cryptology and steganography, some of that stuff, and started breaking stuff down and seeing things, and I was like, oh boy, most of this has been mapped out before us. We just don't understand the code. We just don't see the map because we don't, it's like it is so unbelievable. Coincidences, we just don't know it well enough. I'm convinced of that.
Yeah. And maybe that's why they don't teach us frequencies, just because they don't want us knowing the truth or finding more on them than they want to know.
It's population density. That's the reason why the government got in and changed the frequencies on us and don't teach the right. You control the population, then it doesn't overpopulate. Code would come out for that same reason.
They've had autistic kids crack codes where regular people couldn't.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. I was watching a program where they were having the mom and an autistic child, and they could read each other's minds, and it was amazing. In fact, it was on the confessionals with Tony Merkel, and how they could talk back and forth. And I was just like, oh my gosh, there's so much that we don't know, that if we did, we'd be dangerous for sure. But
they don't have the inhibitors like we do. They don't have all the the programming. They kind of resist a lot of that, which is good.
Yeah, so many things are involved. So do you go out? Do you still see UFOs when you go out?
Well, I got to a point because I was on a cryptology team in steganography. We were looking and we are kind of getting into some Navy brevity coding and trying to figure out, because we knew UFO and UAP, that those are military terms. These are not the terms they're using for identified crafts. So we got in there, we started to figure out some of the lingo, the language, so we could maybe FOIA request some of it. And that's when I saw the old COVID coming. And I tried, I mean, I was so desperate to warn people that I was like calling businesses. And I was like, please don't shut down. Please don't shut down. You don't understand. This is our government. You don't understand what's coming.
Yeah,
I went and I got exemptions. I got everything that I needed to. I got in, like, we are religious exempt from, any sort of nothing. I saw it coming. And everybody's like, oh, this is extreme. This is crazy. And I said, oh, this is crazy. Yeah, you're right. We're never going to walk out of our homes the same way we walked in. That's what's crazy. And I said, whether or not, it's so mind-blowing sometimes how people can't, they think that the government somehow has their best interest in mind. They think that these companies, these corporations and things somehow have their best interest in mind. And I'm here to tell you they don't. They're here to make money and they're here to absorb it. You are becoming more and more a useless eater to them. Like, you're just a waste on this. The more we move into this, and it is, and it's destroying it. So I knew that my purpose had kind of switched. I do see, I go out, but I used to be dedicated. Like, I was out there, and it didn't matter for like years at the same time. I knew every tree, I knew every light, I knew the airport, I knew the drive. I mean, like, I would have the whole place mapped out. I can tell you how to bring them in. I like had a whole sequence of events, but then it was kind of like I went through, I felt like it was almost like a training program. There was different beings and they were different. Clearly they had different reasons and ways. And then it was kind of like, here you go. You're off to do what you're here to do. And they don't give you, they're not people of many words. They look, why am I here? You're here for communication. Can we give like more specific here? So I'm running telling everybody, I'm like, all right. Anybody see a UFO? Anybody see a UFO? Like, I thought if I told enough people, that was enough, and I'd get myself back out of this. But I've tried to walk away from it a couple times when it gets really weird, and it pulls me back in. It definitely tugs at me. So I know there's a lot more to it. I don't know exactly what my place is in all of this, but I do know that I always have and I'm putting together what I feel is like a global movement. I think that we need to be decentralized. I think that we need to be connecting with one another. Absolutely. Larry's in chat. He's probably heard a lot of this. I love Larry. And thank you, Larry, for reaching out and inviting me on. And it's so important. Yeah. It's like, people, if you think that we're not here and that this is not, YouTube is one of the best communication tools. I have given messages, and without a doubt, and people have done it. I said, this is great. We need to look at things like this. So I take different tactics. I'm not looking at commercializing. I'm not looking at doing that. I'm looking at a global movement on how we can all get this information and we can distribute it to one another, because we are being lied to. And we could sit here all day long. I'm sure Bruce, just hearing from you. Yes. And we could find ways to, maybe put this down and get this out to people, one another at least. So that's really where, why I guess I feel my purpose is in some of this is kind of, and I'm all about connecting. I'm not like, oh, some channels are like, oh, you can't say, or we don't talk about other channels over here. I promote them. If you're on there and you have a channel and I know that, drop your link. This is what we do. This is the only, we're not going to hit any algorithms, until we might get randomly pulled, but it's not going to happen any other way.
Yeah. And Larry and I talk about that too, how we promote everybody. You can put your podcast on and our groups, no problem. Everybody else is, no, you can't do that. That's, you're promoting somebody. Yeah, you're promoting somebody else. We're not just here all by ourselves. So, and we have the paranormal, Wrangler Paranormal. We got the, ufology, all that stuff. I mean, it's just been it's been interesting to see how it's all connected and how many other people that are in that same circle just you don't know that one's paranormal and one's the UFO, and then when you bring them together you meet all these people in the middle of that are both having those same experiences. So it's really and promotion of the YouTube too is I think is a big thing. That's a learning curve. Like, yeah, definitely amazing.
I said I'm not here to compete with anybody. I'm here to do something. Like I'm here to build, and I call them the ground crew. We all are the ground crew because they're the ones that disseminate the information. Like Amy Allo, like people in there, and Larry's. I said this is what it's all about. Like for me, it's not about hey one person. It's like, and you're safer. People don't realize this. I was always taught like when you get yourself in a little bit of a jam, you get out there. You don't want to be the target. You don't want to be the moving target out there in the field. You want to flood the field with as many of us out there doing this because then you're safer. You're a lot safer. Go as public as you possibly can. They're on your trail. Is what I've learned. But yes, and there are consequences. There are consequences. But for me, I think that just the connections with people alone and learning, to how to maneuver through some of this. And I just keep going. But I really think, and really with my heart of hearts say, hey, if you're in this and you really are in this to get a message to, get this across, you feel like this is your mission. Like I'm on your team,
Yeah. Yeah. It makes total sense. Total sense. Gosh. So I saw that, sorry, just sat on the dog.
Oh, oh, he doesn't. Yeah.
He has to always be right here next to my chair.
So I thought you can't.
But yeah, I saw some of the other stuff that you had on too. Gosh, what was it now? Oh, that you had a demonologist on your show too. I think I saw.
Oh, Sean Austin.
Sean Austin. Yeah, that was the one. I hadn't gotten a chance to watch that one, but yeah, I was curious to see what your thoughts were on that.
Oh yeah, Sean he's had like probably oh my gosh, how many shows? And he's a musician, but he's very grounded in his way. I had one haunted item that was it was pretty brutal. I was supposed to go to a museum and the thing I don't know, it was just that made me a believer. Because I had already, I've been many ghost hunting, paranormal, and I've been some of the haunted places, but I've never had anything as vicious as this. It was a voltmeter, but yeah, Sean, he's great. He's going to be coming back on, but he's had. I'm trying to even think of the shows he's had so many of them, but he's worth a while. And there's also I'm going to have Russell Reynolds, and he ties into he's related to the Warners, and then he has a sister. I can't remember her name though. We're gonna bring her on, and she's the one that comes in and does a lot. I thought this would be interesting. People don't watch my paranormal shows are not as like, and I'm like thinking fascinating though. It's very fascinating. I really do believe I started off in the paranormal, and everybody who's an experiencer. Yes, I really think it's like a prerequisite. If it's not,
it's one way of seeing connections to all these other weird phenomena and stuff that happen too. So if we could figure out what those connections were, I think we would be a lot safer and know a lot more and help each other more. Definitely. So
yeah. Well, I've seen pictures and I'm like, this thing does not look human. But then I've also seen pictures of cryptids. I'm like, this, hand in hand here, hand in hand. But
it's amazing. It really is. In fact, it's kind of eerie after a while because you want to make that connection, but you really just can't figure it out. But I think science has a lot to do with that too.
Or the lack thereof, or the real science.
The real science, exactly. So, but no, I hear you. My gosh. So, wow.
Yeah, so there's a lot. I mean, definitely a lot. I could go on for hours and hours, but I guess I really do believe it's not. The more I was really trapped in, like these memories. Oh my gosh, I felt like that was the government loop. Like that was a part of where that fracture comes in. Like I'm stuck in those. So I broke away from that. And that was all like a process on its own. Then the more independent, like you become so aware of what's going on around you, like that's your consciousness, is you're consciously aware. The more present you are, remind yourself who you are, what you smell, what you touch, because you can really only trust what's right here, right now. Everything else.
Yeah. So, out of curiosity, are you religious?
I grew up in a Catholic school. I'm spiritual. I definitely, but I'm more. I feel like we are all the same. Like the way that I word it is like, hey, I might be the toaster, you might be the microwave, maybe you're the refrigerator, but we're all plugged into the same energy source. I think that when we break down these barriers, a lot of, it's like, is this coincidental? I don't know how many different, or if we are all one. I mean, that's hard for me to wrap my head around, because I've met some people, I'm like, you are not me. You're not the same. But I mean, whatever. What irritates us about others is something about ourselves, I remind myself.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true. Well, would you come on again?
I would love to
have you.
Yeah, no, I would
Definitely.
love to.
And we usually have Bruce answer any questions.
Bruce is great. Yeah, no, I listen to Bruce.
He is.
Yeah, he's wonderful.
I mean, I've learned more from him. I mean, he's crushing theories that we've had for decades. So, and he makes it so simple too. It's just about, certain things.
He breaks it down. Yeah. And that's a lot of this is so complex. And then Bruce is able to take it and, piece it and make sense. That's good. Thank you, Bruce.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
What you think, Bruce?
Yeah, I appreciate it. I thank y'all for saying that, but I'm just me. That's all I can be.
Yeah.
I try to, when I explain something, I do try to break it down, probably too much. But if I can get people to understand it, then everything is not as complicated as it seems. We only make it that way.
Yeah. Very true.
Jams, the wires. Yeah. Think I look at even media and how complicated the graphics and stuff. Yes.
Right.
Absolutely, Larry.
Life is crazy. It's a crazy ride, that's for sure.
Oh yes, and you all will have to come on my show also. I would love to have all of you.
Yeah.
We would love to. Yeah.
That'd be great.
Do you guys have any questions for? Yeah. Larry, you guys got any questions for her?
I think Larry had one, didn't you?
Did you have a question, Larry?
Yeah. What? A lot of times when cryptids are seen, the UFOs are seen too. What do you think? There's a connection between the UFOs and the cryptids? What's your opinion on that?
You see a lot of it near Native American grounds, which I'm sure burial grounds. Bruce, you probably could attest to this. I've seen it seems like I've looked and I've mapped it out, and it's like anywhere that there is high activity, they both merge, they both cross. And that's what makes me think they're closer than either that or it's opening up some sort of portal. But I don't think, ET is just as much. I mean, if you look at some of the similarities, they're not right out in the open. They're, James Gillian said it best. He said, act like a Squatch does, like basically go undetected. And I feel like they're both, very much protecting themselves for whatever I see why, reasons might be a little bit different than what we think. But absolutely, I absolutely 1000% think that, and I don't know a lot about the ley lines, but I do know, okay, go to water sources, rivers, like things that are energy sources. Those are hot spots.
Yeah.
For both.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, Bruce, I've thought about the frequencies and whatnot, but just listening to Bruce too, it's like, okay, they're frequency all the way around one way or another. So yeah. And
it all comes down to frequency. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's some people say it all leads back to ET. You know, either
Yeah.
way you go.
Yeah.
I guess that's one way of looking at it. But with the tall whites,
Yes,
aliens,
I've seen
and with
them.
Tall white.
the cryptids, you want to look for certain things, certain minerals, rivers, certain trees. If these trees, plants, and rivers and certain altitudes don't line up, you won't have any activity there.
Right.
You got to know. It's like if you go into the woods saying hunting, let me break that down because I'm Appalachian. Ginseng hunting. You got to have these certain hollers with certain plants in it before you even go in and look for ginseng, because if those are not there, there's no need of going in there. It won't be there. And it's the same way with the cryptids, and the same way with my experiences with the whites. I've never had a visit with a grace. I was told once they was in the room with me, but I just didn't see them because I was looking another way. But the tall whites, the dog man, the ancient indigenous, the pygmies, all these things that they've got certain areas and certain things. And if you don't learn those areas and things, and it all comes back down to frequency, the quartz, the gold. If you're in a heavy golden laden area, along with the quartz, you've got a better chance of meeting the whites, of actually getting to see a spacecraft land. You go down to South America and go into the Mayan culture, the pyramids they built there have landing spots on top of them. Well, the scientists would have you believe that they were spots where they offered people's lives up and bled them out there. But no, they were built to land these aircraft on. And these aliens prefer these long steps coming down. And the whites, who are naturally 7 to 8 foot tall, that's what they prefer. They prefer a tall mountainside and to where they can walk down. But a lot of things have to come into factor before they land there.
What was your take on them, Bruce, when you encountered them? Did you feel like they were, I guess I'd like to get your take. I'll tell you what I felt like.
Yeah.
Do you think of why were you there? Do you feel like it was like, I don't want to give it away, I guess, what I think it was.
With them, they were more interested in, from their planet, they have no animals. Okay. When I have interactions with Bigfoot and Dogmen, they were more interested in me and how I was dealing with these interactions, because from their planet, they destroyed all the animals because animals carry diseases, they attack them, this and that. How they were more curious on how humans, or humanoids as they called us, were able to interact. So they're moving around us, and in some places they're actually in the public that we just don't recognize them.
I think it's assimilation. Excuse me. What I saw and what they showed me was they were simulating things that we do. And I saw a child and I thought, this is a training course, kind of like they're looking and analyzing our responses so they can blend in, is what I thought. This is what I thought.
Right. That they do that too. But they're curious about how we interact with animals and stuff, because in their planet, none exist.
Yes, it's crazy. And then they showed like how they re-experience, like, we think back, but they holographically, like, and it's really weird. Like, it's like a slinky that's what they showed me. And like, it's taking it, putting it together. So at any course, they could just digitally like recreate so that way they don't disrupt it. And it's like, man, you can move. It's really cool. It's really cool to experience. And and I did see like a what I think was kind of a med bay, but again, I don't think that the kids have officially arrived. I think that's when it will get very interesting.
Yes. I mean, well, you got to keep in mind the tall whites are subject to our diseases and can wipe them out.
Yes. Well, I asked why I was why I was restrained, but this was the short grays, the creepy ones. And I'll never forget what it looked like looking in their eyes. It was like, you want to talk about creepy, then just go there. But they said that we were restrained because of contamination. So that would make sense. That would make sense.
It's just like the Spanish did to the Native Americans here in America. They didn't come over here and kill them out with weapons. They brought diseases with them.
Yes, they did. Measles and blankets and
Right. That's how they destroyed the whole population, 99%. So these aliens, they're watching for that. That's the reason why you hear people get took up in a spaceship and put on the table. Well, they're desanitized, and their specimens taken from people. And
they said they're very sterile, very, very sterile beings.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. A tall white couldn't take a bee sting like we could. And so
I don't know if that's necessarily good. Don't you think that's just kind of like I feel like we're heading down that path.
Yes.
Especially the man meets machine path. I feel like they're stripping us of these things, and that we should be able to hold herd immunity to. We should be able to resist and withstand when we're actually probably weakening our system altogether.
Well, that's what COVID was brought here for. It was to push us all inside to where we could lose our immunity. And then we step back outside. And during COVID, there was no flu. If you died in a car accident, it was because of COVID. Everything was COVID. You were being trained and scared.
I had my sign. I had my megaphone. I had.
That's right.
Oh yeah, I was out there I fought that every step of the way.
I didn't comply at all. I said, screw your mask.
Not for a second.
Yeah.
That's how. When you put a mask on a person, and then you got a Dr. Policy showing how to put 3 masks on. People should have picked up by then that was just silly. We breathe, we use mask with filtered mask. The N95s are for painting, stuff like that. They're not to be worn for long periods of time because our carbon monoxide that we exhale and we take it back in brings our immunity system down. And then it leaves us it leaves us subject to the common cold killing us, just like it did to the Indians when it was brought here.
That's so true. Yeah, Larry, I'll send you my big debut. I literally started a movement here on Mass DBQ, and I was out there every step of the way. I mean, like, it was crazy though to see all the hate. I thought, man, I'm just fighting for a choice. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just fighting for my right to do, make my own choice. Like, this is our Constitution. And at no point are we supposed to restrict, healthy people. We're not. It went to the upside down world. I feel like we're still in the upside down world. And hopefully people are starting to realize and we can start to, even though I was shocked when I looked into AI and like AI's in the 50s. I'm like, what? Right. It's like, and then the government, yes. Well, the government has to hold technology with 25 years before we get it. Imagine what's really going on.
Yeah, in the Bible, it's talked about, I think it was something mechanical, something like that, but it translated and looked up exactly like the same thing. I wish I could remember where I saw that and what it was, but yeah, no, it's been known that it's got something to do with the Bible and end times, and so yeah, crazy, but. Wow.
Yeah, I don't this next year will get crazier. Something's going down.
Mankind's doing it to itself, though. That's the problem.
Sure is.
A lot of it.
Sure is. I know. And it's like I came from one of the first smart cities in America. Imagine that. But we got all the cameras here, the flock cameras. Like, that's not even my biggest concern. It's like the 1,400 hidden cameras. They even have them beaming in people's houses. And I'm like, if you only knew. I'm not doing anything wrong. Why would I have to worry? I was like, well, wait till walking your dog in the morning is wrong. Think of how the definition has changed of what is right and what is wrong, because in a split second, having a child who's not like whatever is wrong, being a male is wrong. I mean, like everything, they changed the definitions. Those cameras going in and them knowing and seeing your routine and what you do. And if you comply, like here, they monitor the garbage. Why? Why do they monitor? People know they're monitoring to see if you abide by the garbage laws. Because if you don't, they take a picture of it. And I'm like, oh boy, you're not complying, are you? Yeah, they're just profile. Yeah. When a doctor starts asking me, do you wear your seatbelt? I said, I'm a Gen Xer. If I choose not to wear my seatbelt, I choose my own ticket. She's like, I said, why are you asking me about my seatbelt? She's like, because that's she's like, well, that categorizes you as basically like an unsafe person. And I was like, oh boy, here we go. This is not good. This is not good.
I got tickled at a doctor. I had arrested a man and had to take him in for a blood test. And there was another man in there with a broken leg. We had a pack of Winston 100s in his pocket. Okay.
Oh yeah.
In the ER room.
Hilarious.
And it's not really funny, but I have to laugh. No, he didn't light the cigarette up. The piece of equipment in the factory he was working on broke, and it come across and broke his leg. Well, the ER doctor looks at him and said, if you hadn't been smoking Winston's, it wouldn't have broke your leg. And I'm going like, wait a minute. So I asked the other doctor, what did you mean by that? I said that had nothing to do with his leg getting broke. Those cigarettes are in his pocket. They're not allowed to smoke in the factory. So how did that have anything to do with it? Well, they're pushing us. The government's pushing us, saying if you smoke cigarettes, your calcium is lower, so your bones are more brittle.
No, and that's why, nobody who had nicotine patches, they're no good for you either. And that's why they're helping people to get anything they tell you to stay away from. I'm like, better try it.
But there is a doctor out there that tobacco is curing cancer in other countries.
Yes.
Well, yeah, here's the thing. In Australia, the scientists in Australia put out a paperwork that the World Health Organization shut it down immediately. It said, if you don't want to catch COVID, or what is being said is COVID, it's a chemical warfare. The best way is to smoke a cigarette and coat your nose with nicotine, and this fat cannot live. It will kill it at the nose. Well, that gets shut down because that doesn't fit the narrative. Everybody's now that lives 2 blocks away from a smoker, that smoker's killing them.
And the person not wearing a mask is killing their grandma. It's like, come on.
It's all mental stuff that the government's training.
Yeah.
I look in the days of the Prohibition. I heard you guys talking about something earlier. I'm like, during the days of the Prohibition, they were poisoning. The government was literally taking bottles of alcohol, poisoning them, and distributing to the people. I mean, this is the type of thing. Nobody came out and apologized and said, hey guys, we're really sorry. When they get caught, they acknowledge it, but they didn't stop this type of behavior. This is continued behavior.
The world's amazing. We're our own worst enemy.
We really are.
We're being programmed, and we're not being responsible people. I can remember, I think it was Walter Cronkite. He would tell you the story in the news, and he said, now, it's left up to you to decide whether you believe it or not. Well, then they give you the option. Now, it's, okay, these people ain't going to believe it, but if we can get these extremists over here to push it on them and embarrass them in the school systems and everything else, then we can get them to conform. We can got all these sheep in the corral before we push them off the bluff.
And you'd be so surprised who's funded. Who is funded and who is not. Oh, boy. That's where it really takes a twist and a turn. It gets deep. Like even in the UFO community, the more people and the further in I got that, I was like, oh, boy. I saw how this whole thing worked, and it gets dirty. It really does.
Yep.
All because of money, power,
and power,
greed.
Greed, yes. Everybody wants to be that disclosure person. When it's the people who are the experiencers, those are the disclosure.
Right.
Disclosures happen. We all know it's there. Like that. I mean, you can ask whatever. Everybody's waiting. Why are they waiting? Well, if they look to Stephen Bassett, and he might try and deny it, but I've got screenshots because I have take screenshots of everything. Websites, they're not like books. They can change them very easily. They are talking about a caretaker government coming in. Oh, all the people will need, not me. But it's like that's what they're waiting for. It's not technically, it's what's coming once that happens. It's going to be, they never waste a perfectly good opportunity to take over. You know, it's you better believe tell people if you go out and you see, just go back inside. You can't handle this. Just go back. We got it.
Yeah.
We got it. Yeah. Stop, breathe. Don't make any snap decisions like you did the COVID running in. Don't do that. You got time to breathe, pause, and rethink this.
Yeah.
People, the sad thing during the COVID, a lot of people who was on disability and Social Security, retired, were forced to take the shot because the government was going to stop their retirement, their checks, their insurance, everything.
Jeez, that's a big red flag right there.
Yes, if they're forcing you to do it. So many people, and I was ousted. I was a clinical therapist. Geez, you want to talk about mean women? I was ousted basically from there. I went and I found the pool. Only one lady would come in and jump in with her mask on, thank God. And then there was like the zip line, and I was like, nobody's gonna make it up that hill alive in those masks. You want to try? You want to die? Try and go right ahead. But I know you guys cannot handle the heat, so you might as well just cut the crap here. I couldn't. It was like so painful to watch. I saw this. I even posted a post on Facebook. Do not fall for what your government is about to do in the name of a virus. And two, the people they think bats. Look to snake venom and look to tobacco and tell me that would not make more sense. And anybody with a CRISPR kit, which you can buy at that time, you could buy off Amazon for like $200, could have made that in their basement, truthfully.
Right.
I mean, you could just go on and on with this whole thing, but we got to learn to trust one another. We got to learn to trust one another.
Yeah. Whoever dies with the most
booster shot did to me was prove all the other ones didn't work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I only got the first one. I worked at a pharmacy and I said, I'm done. I took the first one. I'm not taking anything else. And she's like, I don't agree, but I think you're right. And I'm like, I haven't had any problem.
How many people? I would be so mad at those people.
Attacks. Yeah.
Oh, wouldn't you, if I took it and it was because somebody, I would be at their house. Yes.
Yeah.
Pitchforks and torches.
Yeah. That's what it comes down to.
Ever you're fired.
Yeah. And that's what it came to. If you can't come to work and prove that you have this card.
They'd let it go on and two before they put that restraining order on. Every time I punch in that clock, we'd have to. No, and there's like fewer and fewer and fewer, but I hung in there till the end. I was like, and I tell the people I'm mouthy like that, but you realize I'm your last chance at a breath of air here at this YMCA pool. I would think about that because they really, people did not hold back. They'd be like, oh, that's so dirty. You didn't. And I was like, you don't know what I feel about you right now. Okay. Just the fact that you're saying that and then, galore, like they've had booster after booster after. I'm like, yeah.
Or how about the people that are still wearing the masks inside their cars? Maybe that's helpful.
Yeah.
I'm like,
oh God.
Yeah.
I've got a friend of mine that he got his COVID shot and he got his card. So he found out that you could order those cards from Amazon to come out of China. So he got him 2 more cards and he put different names on them. So he ended up like getting his shot plus 12 boosters. He wanted to make sure he was took care of. I said, you make sure
my God.
Well, when I was working in the pharmacy, this big, huge box came in and it had, the syringes and stuff to do all this stuff. And then it came with stacks of like 1,000 of those cards. And I'm just going, yeah, I can see how much I could pawn these off for,
But I didn't think anybody wanting more of them. Yeah, here we could have gotten like all of our cards.
Exactly. And most of them got thrown away because there was only certain people that would come into the pharmacy. And then there was boxes and boxes of 100 syringes with the face guards, all went in the trash. So that's where a lot of that money went too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you better believe it. You better believe it.
It
was just like, it was an insane asylum. It really was.
Yeah.
I was like,
I think it was just kind of, let's see what they'll do.
Yes.
Let's see how
if you look to Event 201, it was going on. They had to stop it. I was watching Event 201 and I was like, these are training videos. These are training videos. You look to the news, Operation Mockingbird, how much of your CIA is infiltrated. This has been going on for a long time,
Yeah.
They were training videos. They had to stop Event 201 so the real virus could come. Well, they have to tell you what's going to happen. They're going to bring out another one. Let them bring it. But do not bring yourself out into it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Do not participate. The more that you participate in this, because people weren't dropping dead. Nobody dropped dead until after that jab was put in play. Nobody. Yeah. I was like, they're telling you people are in the streets dead. I'm going into the hospitals and I'm showing people the empty parking lots. They're saying the floors are full. Oh, well, finally, when you get to that layer, well, we didn't mean they're actually full. We mean we have them reserved. And I was like,
yes,
that's a big difference. Right. That's a big difference, But after all that came in play, people, not only did they probably immune, they weren't going out and participating like some of us were. They stepped and then they got that alone, and that would be enough to tumble your immune system in just seconds.
Well, it makes you wonder which one of those
sticking sick people in with elderly people in homes and stuff. That's where most of your death.
The window visits, I was like, oh God, help me. God help me. Oh God.
Yeah. But it makes you wonder that those families, the 7 families, which one of them was the toilet paper and the paper towels. I mean, because they were out everywhere, and then all of a sudden they would show up and you would pay whatever amount of money for them. I mean, I had people on my street saying, hey, will you go get me paper towels at Costco? Just going, you walk in there and there's pallets of it, and you're just going, why? Oh, we don't want to go down there because we'll get sick.
God, I know.
It gets deeper and deeper.
I know. Oh God, I know. I couldn't believe how many of my family members we literally like went and we're on both. I was at the dollar store and I see this guy and he's got this huge mask on and I'm getting a little irritated at this point because he's pushing the buttons that are wrapped in saran wrap and he's got gloves on, right? And I start looking real, and I'm there and like, no, man, I'm nothing. I'm like, what is wrong? And everybody's like, back to the back of the store because they think this guy. I'm like, that looks like my dad. And I was like, oh my God, that is my dad. So I yelled, I was like, Dad, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I work on the bus. He does it as a retirement job. I said, you're not on no damn bus and you're holding up the line. Your gloves are sticking to the saran wrap on there. I said, what are you wearing? And he's like, what are you? I said, oh, just out fighting the good old fight. But what is going on here? Like, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And what got me was if you're allergic to latex or you don't know if you're allergic to latex, then you buy these and they would go out of stock. It's just like follow the flow. So
I said, this is, to me, it just, the mental health illnesses, it amplified it. If you had, maybe something going on prior, I mean, that isolation and everything else and that scare, I mean, they literally scared and people were genuinely afraid and to live under that kind of terror. And then too, if you lived through like the Cold War or even, the Vietnam War and things like that, they had that's where that fracture that they just played on that fracture. They played on that fracture. So
and lock people in their homes in China, and you can't leave the house until we get this under control. And they've been in there like 6 months.
Yeah, I know.
No groceries, no nothing, just water, and I think it was water and rice.
A lot of people
and
did it here voluntary.
Yeah.
I don't think that'd work well trying to lock us in our houses over here.
I couldn't believe what was going on here. Yeah. I ran for city council during that time, and I had to go around getting signatures, and I'd see people like,
jeez.
Yeah, I ended up with like 50 pens, and I was like, nobody wanted me to get their pen. I was like,
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy. That's crazy. Yeah.
And they're still doing that. They're still doing that. So place your dirty pen here. I'm like, yeah. And then you got guys that are in front of you that are grabbing the dirty pens, and you're like, oh, that's real effective.
Yeah, I got in trouble.
Back,
I said, I'm so confident I'll go lick a shelf at Walmart. Oh boy, talk about getting flagged as a public health threat. Yeah.
Well,
oh my god,
tinnitus or something like, or not tinnitus, but what do they call that with the lockjaw?
Oh yeah, that's what somebody told me from. I wouldn't go. I went through a barbed wire fence too. It was all rusted, and I was like, "You're gonna get." I was like, if I didn't let it, I tetanus.
Your jaw's gonna lock up and all of this, and you're gonna hate it because you're gonna have to get
my mom
shots in your stomach.
Yeah, lockjaw. That shit's ancient. I ain't worried about it.
Yeah, no. After a while, it's game over. Well, you guys. The last part's been a blast. It's been fun to
it's been very
see
fun.
where everybody's at, and you know, I mean, just incredible to see all the different areas that we're all kind of specific in, and how it all relates to each other. So it's been good. It's been good. Coley, we gotta have you back on again.
Oh, I'd love to
for
come
a
back
late
on.
night show for just the four of us.
I'd love to. I'd come on anytime. Perfect. You let me know.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. So actually, thank you, Coley. Appreciate it. You guys too.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Coley.
And Larry, thank you. I love Larry's been really good, and he is very efficient at this job. He really is.
Yeah, he's good.
Made sure all along the way, and you're an angel.
Yeah, he brings in more people than I do. So it's like I'm at the point where it's like anybody that I bring in, they cancel at the last minute. So I'm like, go for it, Larry. Just whatever you can get.
Larry's on it. He reminds you, and I'm like, he gives you. I'm like, man, you are good at this. I don't hear him on this. Yeah,
very good. So, all right, guys. Well,
thanks
we'll close it down
for all the
here.
kind words.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it, all four of it. All four of you. Wherever Scott went.
Have a nice
hopefully he finds what's going on. Yeah, with that dog.
Yeah. All righty. Thank you, Coley.
Say no to the jab.
Thanks, Bruce.
All right, thank y'all. Thank you, Coley.
Bye, guys.
Nice
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Welcome to the Cryptid Wrangler podcast. We ask the questions others don't even consider.